Welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to look at natural resources. What is it that mankind needs that they extract from the earth in different ways, either by farming or mining or in some ways pulling out things that we need from the natural world and using them? We're going to talk about which ones can be restored and replenished, which ones will definitely run out, and how fast we're using them and who is using them. So let's look at some details. Anything that's natural is occurring on the earth. So you can derive the materials from the earth, you can mine them, you can cut them, you can acquire them in the air or in the water or in the land. They are the animals that live on the land. They're the minerals that are in the soil. Anything that you can derive that would be useful is a resource, and anything that you can find at hand that you don't have to make is natural. So some of the resources that, for instance, plants and animals that can be grown, if that is something that you would need, if men would need that, then you could have that if you take care of it for a long, long period of time. If it's something that does not renew itself, then that is a very limited resource, and you cannot use it up without suffering damage for it. So any type of resource that you can think about that you can't make is a natural resource. So renewables are anything that can be replenished. All right, so anything that can be cleaned with natural processes, such as the air and the water, that would be considered renewable. You could also think of anything renewable as the sun, even though I suppose the sun eventually could burn out as it uses all of its fuel, but that's such a long way away that you can think of it as renewable. You can think of the wind as renewable, because as long as there's sunlight, there's going to be energy enough to move the gases in the atmosphere, and that is considered inexhaustible. If you do have a renewable resource, such as animals or plants or something that you would extract, as long as you don't use it faster than its replenish rate, then it's a sustainable product. So if you can grow fish as long as you're eating fish, or if you can grow trees at a faster rate than you're using trees, then that's sustainable. If you are using water or using plants or animals or some other resource faster than that can be restored, then that's unsustainable. You will run out if you use it faster than you're getting it. If you spend more than your paycheck every month, then that means you're eventually going to run out of money. So it's basically that same idea. Now, you want something to be ongoing. You don't want, for instance, species to go extinct because you overused them, overfished them, overfarmed them. You want to maintain a sustainable yield. Non-renewable resources are something that's in a fixed amount. So something that either is a one-time event in the world or is such a long-term process that there will never be enough time for something to be remade. So if you think of those as the minerals, any type of chemicals that would be found in the earth, such as salt, or minerals like iron, or metals like copper, any type of fuels that you would use that are fossil fuels based upon hydrocarbons, such as oil and natural gas. These things are non-renewable, and whenever you use them, you are depleting their amounts. So if you were to say suddenly everybody in the world wants a diamond ring, it's possible that there will be enough diamonds for everybody, but once the diamonds are gone, because first of all, they take extreme situations in order to make them, and then they have to be found, they have to be mined, and diamonds are so deep that you may not ever have enough. So a sustainable yield is not possible if you have a non-renewable resource. If something is not being restored, then you are only simply spending it. So it would be as if you did not have a paycheck, you only had a bank account, and you were writing checks continuously. You would eventually run out. So the last thing in this section is talking about who is using the resources. We'll see that the certain countries are using most of the world's resources. So if you were to say how much of the Earth's resources are being distributed to, say, the rich countries or the poor countries, you're going to see that there's not much equity there. The United States, particularly, is only 6% of everybody in the world, but is using 30% of the mineral and energy resources each year. So we are using more than our share of non-renewable resources, knowing that eventually they're going to run out. Other countries that are much bigger than the United States are not using as much, or whole areas of the world that have many, many more people than the United States are not using near as much resources. We are extracting more and using more than most of the rest of the world is.